So this is Dr. Kieran Myers. So he's the man that's got trouble in my household, right? He works for this company that's got trouble in my household. And he's a Senior Director of Environment, Social and Governance at Sony Interactive Entertainment. So for those of you who've got young boys and know about, and maybe young girls well know about the PlayStation, right? It's Sony Entertainment that kind of bring the PlayStation to house. It causes lots of disagreements between parents and children. So he's the environmental and sustainable professional with over 25 years experience within entertainment and electronic sectors in various senior management, external relations and commercial roles with global and international scope. He's also experienced with technical export controls, product safety and technology security. So please welcome onto the stage Dr. Kieran Myers. Oh, come on, you can do better than that. Work your hand cream, work the hand cream. There we go.
What is that? Oh, yes, please.
Yeah?
Yes.
Brilliant.
Thank you. Yeah, sometimes you realize it's really time to update your profile. Yeah, I got older. I have 30 years experience now. So what happened? I was 50 a couple of weeks ago. And actually, you sort of think when you're 50, where are you and what you're going to do with the remaining years you have. So, this is it, is how do we address the world in a really important inflection point, both socially and environmentally? Where are we going? What is the future for our future children? So part of what I do inside the company is, first of all, get the foundation right. How do we make sure that we tread appropriately, tread lightly in the world, both in terms of how we impact the systems, but also how we play a role in society. And as I mentioned before, we basically sell good behavior incentives for children, right? So, no, I'm just joking. But so basically, this is in the last 5 years since I wrote that profile, I've become the head of sustainability of PlayStation globally, and sort of moved into the strategic area. And I support the leadership of Sony PlayStation with these questions. And I'm here today to show something specific, and it fits with the program you're all here that Rash is spearheading, the Microuniversity. And that's how actually I first met Rash. I'm an associate scholar at Saïd Business School, and we got talking about mutual interest in how we're using technology to educate, to inspire change. So I'll come on to that. So yeah, we need to get the foundation right. We need to make sure that our products and services meet requirements, stakeholder expectations, and that we are doing the right thing. And in that spirit, as I started my new role, since I wrote that profile, we developed sort of three points on that trajectory. First, and this is really to take the complexity of how do we deal with the world's problems to a level which means something to individuals, to management. How do I act? How do I behave? What do I do to fix these issues? And the first one is we should carve our own path, not just follow what others do. And I think that is what is needed in terms of leadership in this area. Why? Well, because all of these problems are complicated. We talk about inclusivity. We talk about dealing with environmental problems. And basically, environmental problems happen because they're externalities. You don't see them. I got to talk into the microphone. Hopefully I don't need to repeat everything I just said, because I'll never remember it. Yeah, so how do we, where was I? Yes, so basically carbon or chemicals or these sorts of things, you don't see them. We're all breathing carbon out now. That everything here is, how do we track it? How do we measure it when it's so hard to determine? How do we allocate it? Chemicals which seep out of things, you don't see them. They happen underground, they go to the air. You can't see them. The same thing with inclusivity. People or societies or even entire countries are excluded from the debate, from the discussion, from the ability to access finances. You don't see them, you don't know them. I was out in Nairobi a few weeks ago, meeting with huge numbers of people, huge amounts of innovation, huge amounts of really inspiring
work that they're all doing there. They don't even know who to connect to and who to talk to. And I introduced them to my colleague in Sony that's developing AI that was over the moon to meet with these entrepreneurs in Nairobi. There was just no way for these people to meet. So I think that's it. These issues are difficult in many ways because they're outside of what we can see. And in addition, and they're complex, but in addition, each organization is different, which means we need to uniquely understand what each organization does in terms of its interactions with society and the environment. It's no one-size-fits-all solution. The second point is we need to turn intention into action. And I remember COP26, I think it was, Greta Thunberg stood up and her speech was basically wonderfully executed. It was blah, 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 blah at the whole of the UN delegation, which was sort of a very sort of childish, not childish, childlike way to address all the parents in the room. And true, yeah, you're just talking here. What are you actually doing? So it's really important to turn intention into action. As you all know, 5% of anything is having the ideas, whereas 95% is actually making something happen. And a lot of sustainability, you'll see people will accuse people of greenwashing. Every time you announce a target, when it goes wrong, you just announce a new target. So where's the result? So you've got to turn intention into action. And finally, and this came from our previous president who just retired when he made his inaugural speech, Jim Ryan, he said to the company, before I decide anything, before we talk about anything, I want to know what is the right thing to do. Now, we may go on to discuss how we'd go about that, but I first of all want to know what is the right thing to do. And so the third point is we should make sure we're doing the right things, do the right things, and do them well. So you need to not only have the intention to do the right thing, you need to when you decide this is what we need to do, you need to check after you've done it that it worked, do it well. And that's what a lot of these kind of quality management systems do. So these three statements for me, it probably doesn't cover everything you need to do, but they boiled down the essence of my company's culture and way of doing things and tried to make the action and steps and logic behind what we need to do tangible so people understand the complexity. And we shouldn't be afraid. So a lot of people look at these problems. Let's take climate change and go, oh, it's too complicated, it's too difficult. Just give me the simple answer, tell me what I need to do. Who would ever say that when buying a house? If a estate agent was showing you things and this one's got hot and they go, oh, for goodness sake, just tell me which house to buy. You'd never say that. So why would we say it with our planet's future? Why? Because we just don't want to, no. And that's what we need to do. We need to see it, and we need to open our eyes and take action. So basically, those are the sort of things we're doing in a company. That's the kind of philosophy which we had adopted. Now, of course, we need to go into setting goals. We've got goals in 8 different areas to address various aspects like our plan it's called Road to Zero, about our environmental plan, how we improve diversity, equity, inclusion within the company, how we address ethics and code of conduct within our supply chain, how we make sure that children are safe when they come onto our platform, how we curate and create a safe environment, not only create a safe environment, but promote well-being. We have ways of seeing and knowing when children are in distress when they're playing. So if we see that, we should make sure they get help, things like this. And also, let me think what I'm missing here. Oh yeah, accessibility, making sure that our products are available to people with disabilities. So we've just launched a new access controller. It won 25 awards this year, so including Time Innovation of the Year. I mention that because my younger brother has muscular dystrophy. He can't game, he's gone too far. But I've been trying to work on business plans within the company to get that product launched and developed over many, many years. So I just wanted to account for myself a little bit in front of all of you here today. What is our philosophy? What I'm setting out to do? I can open to questions on anything to do with that later. But what I specifically want to talk about is a journey that started in 2019, which is also 5 years ago at the time I wrote that profile. When we joined up with United Nations, Playing for the Planet Alliance launch, with the mission of using our technology to inspire change. So this is the second part. Not only do we need to make sure we act appropriately, we actually have an outreach. Gaming, I think 5 billion people in the world game. We have 120 million active users. We have an audience. We can use our channel to inspire action, to inspire the right way forward. It's untapped. It's never been used before for that purpose. It's just purely entertainment. So we made a commitment to use our technology to inspire change, and there's been a number of things we're doing, and that's how I know the University of Oxford. We're working with Professor Rupert Younger in the Department of Corporate Reputation to look at and research how those games can inspire change. And one of the main projects we've developed there is called Climate Station. So we've taken the world's entire IPCC climate data, the history of all meteorological measurements, and we've taken also a year in the life of the planet, NASA high-definition images, and over 20,000 data points across the world. And we basically use gaming technology to bring it all to life. When you go to the UN, when you see these things, delegates need to spend about 3 to 4 days reading the reports to understand what it is they're going to discuss. Now, using this technology, anyone can see this data and understand it in minutes. You can see what's going to happen where you live. You can see what the climate was like when your grandparents were alive. You can look forward and see for future generations, for your children's children, what's going to happen in your location. And all of it completely open. You can explore all the data. It's visualized. It's in virtual reality, so it's in 3D. It's like the holodeck on Star Trek when you put the headset on. It will also be in 2 dimensions. And we also have video explainers, so you can make sense of what you see, narrated by actually, I shouldn't say. Wait for it to launch. Anyway, we have a celebrity who narrates it, and basically, anyone from whoever you are, it doesn't need to be a scientist, can suddenly understand the climate data, the science, and also can explore it. You can say, I think it's sunspots, and then it shows you sunspot activity, and you go, no, it's not that. And I think it's volcanoes, and you can see the volcanoes going off, and you see a little blip, and the data goes blip, and you say, no, it's not that. You can even see a little puff of smoke coming out the volcano in the images, and you go, no, it's not that. So you can come to your own conclusions on the scientific data, guided by the education and information videos along the journey. It's a self-guided journey, and that's exactly where we come into Microuniversity, because we're trying to sort of democratize, or not democratize, but make open this source of data, make available so everyone has the tools to understand it using gamification, not gamification, but using gaming technology. That's my sort of spiel. I brought with me a presentation that explains Climate Station, but I thought better to talk it because this is supposed to be a panel session actually, so we can talk about it. But I do have some videos. So I think if I show you the 1-minute promotional video, it's a really earlier version of the build. I have another one which is more up to date, which is the VR view. So the first one just shows some screenshots, and so is the intention. It's just 1 minute. I think I'll play that one. The other one, if anyone's interested, is actually the version we've just taken to UNEA 6, and the version we took to COP28, which actually explains climate change using Climate Station. But let me show you the promotional one first. One thing I would like to say is we did take that, we took a full demonstration to COP28 in Dubai, and we took a full version to UNEA 6 in Nairobi 2-3 weeks ago. We were there with the colleagues from Oxford, and through a lot of hard work over 5 days, we got over 200 delegates to try Climate Station, including about 7 ministers from different countries. We had 32 different countries try it, and about 61 different actual government delegate representatives. And from the survey, the initial findings are that, it made a very meaningful difference to people's outlook. And these are decision makers' outlook, sort of motivation and sort of emotional reaction to the climate change by being immersed in the data visually and graphically. Some of them I talked to sort of denied it and said, I know all this data, why are you here? But it was very clever. The research showed that actually, no, it did make a difference. It did provide that additional impetus. Some others said, why don't we have this instead of all these reports? I could understand the data so much more quickly. One of the representatives from the Maldives actually cried through the whole demonstration and basically hugged the researchers off, said, thank you for doing this. Thank you for using this technology to bring the attention to the world of what's going to happen in my country. So I'm actually very hopeful because we did this very experimentally. We didn't know how it was going to play out. And I'm really pleased that those results came in and have been in the process of being verified at Oxford, because this was sort of on a wing and a prayer that we did this, hoping it would work, because the hypothesis is that it should work. So when we put that out, that'll be, we haven't committed to a particular launch schedule yet, but not too far away. When we put that out, it'll be available free of charge on all PlayStation consoles. My hope, my dream, which I can't commit to yet, is that we'll next find the resource to put it onto PC, and sort of take it further, so that we can, this technology, we can use gaming alongside all other technologies. TV is already used to promote the plight of the climate, so we can bring our voice, bring our technology to help promote action on these issues. So that's a particular focus. But let me now, just a second.
We all know climate change is real, and it's happening now. The scale and impact of climate change can be hard to comprehend. How can we solve the problem without understanding the factors at play? Introducing Climate Station. Using the immersive power of PlayStation, anyone will be able to view, interact with, and understand complex climate data. Discover how recent floods in Africa relate to the devastating bushfires in Australia, and how warming in the Arctic can lead to droughts, floods, and heat waves across Europe and North America. Explore for yourself how much the climate has changed over the last century, where you live and across the planet. Find out what our future could be like and who will be most at risk. Can we save our planet together by making changes today? Discover the answers for yourself with Climate Station.
And if anybody recognizes the voice there, that's the person that we've elected, celebrity we elected to do the narration. I won't reveal the name, but maybe you can guess. I don't know. So and she's like a climate champion and climate expert, as well as being a TV personality. So she was ideal. So that's it. I think I should probably stop talking and maybe turn this into a panel.
Questions do we have? Great.
Thank you. That is amazing. How you're using technology to help educate people and bring to life the data. It's actually really interesting because last year I was working with a set of students who had imagined the very exact thing that you have just showed, and they came up with this project idea to introduce this kind of technology to enable more children to be able to engage with climate change and learn more about it in a much better way. And you've just shown that now the technology exists and it is possible. So my question is, are there any plans for you to roll this out into schools, in education formally? Or are you able to say anything?
It's going to be available everywhere to everybody. Of course, the limitation right now is you need a PlayStation to play it. If I put it on PC, onto mobile, which I hope it to be in everybody's hands. The people I met in Nairobi or in Tanzania when I was out there, they're trying to do climate education for farmers or villagers that burn wood. And I hadn't seen it, but they said, could we use something of this to educate those villagers? And also I was a little cynical at the first time that this technology is not really available in those areas of the world to do education. But actually, if you put this on a mobile, you can record your own video of it, and then, I mean, most people across the world in the developing world have mobiles. So it means it can really educate people or be used to educate people who on specific things. You can actually find the pin which represents where they live, and you can specifically say, this is what's going to happen here. I don't think any other technology allows that to be done, and to be able to record something of a quality visual content, you know. So generally speaking, yeah, this will be available for education. We don't have, we don't sell things to schools. Generally, we don't have an in, we don't have a distribution channel to schools. But I certainly want to see how we can explore collaboration with schools. But I mean, just even kind of trying to service that market, which is huge, we don't have any experience about it. So it's a little trial and error. I certainly hope we can try, but schools sort of have very specific structured curricula. So does this meet the curricula? Probably, but you probably need some pathway through to be given as homework. I mean, imagine teachers saying, giving children their homework to go and play PlayStation. So that's an unusual thing. So we have a little bit more work to do to look at to the extent to which climate station can be used against international curricula. And certainly when we met the Environment Minister of Grenada when we were out in UNEA, and various people, but in particular, she said, I want to see this in all our schools. And I don't know if that can happen, but that might be something like that, finding an opportunity where we can test how it might work in schools in a concentrated area, might help us to make it kind of tractable.
We should definitely talk. Yeah.
Yeah. Where are you from?
Great. So my name's Elena, and I'm the founder of Digital Camp, which works with young people to help them build digital skills and projects that help the planet.
Oh, very excellent. Very good. Thank you. Yeah. We're working also with Sam Barrett, who's the chief of, I think, youth and education at UNEP. So we're hoping he might help us too. So.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, thank you.
That was actually my question. Anybody else question? No? Yep.
All right.
Great. Listen, absolutely fantastic. And this is what I love. I mean, really love about Microuniversity. Because Eleanor really should talk to you. And you really should talk to Eleanor. And you can just make a massive impact in the world just between, what's it, an hour and a half we've been in here. So thank you very much for coming.
Okay.
Head
Thanks for having me.
of Global Sustainability.
Senior Director.
Senior Director as well. Okay, thanks very much.